Hey, what's up? Hey, it would be bad form of me to say just because I don't think that either Joe Biden or Kamala Harris are qualified to be in the executive office and should actually be indicted right now. That the ideation of all these National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C. is a bad idea. They always have National Guard, they always have military in Washington, D.C. As a matter of fact, this specific inauguration has been planned ever since the Reagan administration. Did you know that? I know. Right in the back of my leg, huh? Calf, right here. Huh? Maybe up here too? Yeah, you remember that implant. You've had that implant in there since I was 18 years old. This has been foretold for a considerable amount of time. And according to at least military.com right now, dated for today, there's about 25,000 National Guardsmen that have been briefed on the situation of DC being called in by Capitol Police, Secret Service, stuff like that. Now, here's the thing when you get those kind of mobilizations of National Guardsmen for a particular event, it's important. All those people in one place, that's a huge transactional event. Remember when Trump said he wanted a military parade? And then the members of the military told him how much it was going to cost? Remember? There was a reason for that. So, by virtue of the fact, with all that's happened, and all these National Guardsmen are in D.C. right now for today, that's one consideration. But here's the question: how long are they going to require the National Guard to be in D.C. active for them to use them for whatever the transactional possibilities are for that kind of a mobilization? They did not call out the National Guard in order to set up the supply and distribution sector needed in order to address an emergency pandemic response, period. Regardless of what sector you're in when it comes to emergency preparedness and response in addressing a national emergency situation such as potentially a pandemic, National Guard wasn't anywhere around to address that, was they? No, they were not. Were they anywhere around to deal with actually securing these vaccines that are supposed to be distributed? Seeing to it that they were taken from wherever the central place was that they were manufactured or bought into the particular port, making sure it was delivered efficiently, making sure that before it was delivered efficiently, they already had areas where the vaccines were going to be administered set up, and they'd already gone through the process of making priority lists of who needed it so that they could be transported to the site in order to get their vaccine as soon as possible, and as expeditiously as possible. No, they did not. And they intentionally did it that way. They could have deployed National Guard to every state. They could have had all of the vaccines they needed to get administered. If this is really what it was. That's so 25,000 National Guardsmen DC. Why? To protect the president? No. There's something else going on. So if you're kind of bummed out or you're like having one of these days, we're worried about fiscal crisis, whatever. I mean, this has been going on for a while. It's obvious that this whole pandemic situation was not a pandemic. It was about something else. So all we need to do is keep track of how long are they going to have these National Guardsmen in D.C. How long are people going to be required to provide post duty to a swearing in ceremony that itself is being done under questionable pretenses? Here's the question: what are they not supposed to be doing instead of being deployed and centralized in Washington, D.C. right now? That's what we need to be looking at. There's plenty for us to deal with. We got plenty that we need. We got everything we need. The question is, how do we assure that, again, it's not centralized and obstructed while somebody else uses it for illicit purposes? Why was the National Guard not able to mobilize and be briefed in these manners in order to see to it we already had what we needed in order to shut off COVID-19? It's a good question. Maybe somebody will answer it.